is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 63. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by. Real quick, if you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribe to the channel if you are new here. And as always, Kart 63 is brought to you by Track Tack Tire Treatments. Track Tack Tire Treatments. Track Tack Tire Treatments. If you have any questions about Track Tack, shoot them this way. I will get you an answer, or I know some people who will have the answer for you. If you are looking for a prep program, again, if you're looking to switch from what you're currently using or are curious about anything, questions this way, please, and or thank you. Chris Harris is also on the Track Tack page and Facebook, and he can answer your questions there in Messenger. Call the shop, all that groovy stuff. All right, so I was gonna shoot one video, and then I started going off on the rails. So, you know, I talk a lot, and then sometimes just so I changed subject because I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go with that particular subject. But this one was in my notes, so I went back to this. Does every kart tire benefit from internal prepping? Okay, in short, the answer is no. Some tires, I believe, actually perform better without internal prepping. Now, I know, like this is, what are you doing, Ben? The channel is sponsored by a tire prep company. So wouldn't it be, you know, behooven of me? Is that a word? Is that the word I'm looking for? Anyway, to just like, you should buy this prep and put prep in every single tire you have, you know, sell more prep, that type of thing. That would be wonderful, but also no, it doesn't. Not every single manufacturer of tire requires either any prep internal or a lot of prep internally. Some tires actually behave their best, in my opinion, without any internal. I will say, just first and foremost, I believe that Burris can be prepped internal if it's done correctly, if you have the correct chemicals, if you know what you're doing and you have a lot of experience with Burris. You can internally prep some Burris and have them work well for certain circumstances. Great. But in general, I have found that Burris 11s and Burris 33s, possibly Burris 55s, but it's been a long time since I run it, actually do better with only external prepping. There's just something about when a Burris tire in particular hits a track that it matches up with, it doesn't need but a little bit of assistance. Maybe a pre-race wipe, maybe an aggressive wipe, maybe something to bring the tire in, maybe something to fire it off. And even still, I find that Burris don't take a ton of external prep for most tracks. And I say most tracks, that's not all tracks. Some people prep the absolute dog snot out of Burris and they make them work, and fantastic. I've never actually had to do that. I'm finding with the Reapers, you know, what little bit I've been on them, you know, I'm not the end-all be-all of experience with Reapers, but I do get a lot of questions on the Reaper tire. The bit that I've been on them, I've been on them on a clone, and I've been on them on my open. Both times they performed very well, but I had over-prepped the set of Reapers for the clone, and I believe that I got locked down. I was shedding speed because the tire has a natural bite to it, and I overdid it. The open had great grip and fired off well, did great. You know, I changed tires for the feature to Vegas because that's typically the tire choice. I don't believe that I had any more grip with the Vega than I did with the Reaper, but they were prepped even less than that initial set. So I believe that, much like the Burris, I think you're going to start to find that a Reaper doesn't require any, if not a, you know, very much internal prepping. I would personally, you know, the sets that I have not prepped so far, I think I'm going to let those over prep sets set for a while, let it, you know, naturally cycle its way out. The Duro never went crazy and never got too low or anything like that. I'm going to let that prep kind of dissipate and let the tire normalize again. But I have some sets that are less prepped less, and I think I'm going to try those. I believe I'm going to have a little more success because of what I felt between the two variations of tires I ran so far. Maxxis, definitely, I believe, you know, are there cases where a straight-up Maxxis works well? Yes. I'm sure there are those cases. I'm sure there's people like, don't internal prep them, just do stuff at track, much like you would a Burris. But in general, from what I hear, you know, because I'm not a super Maxxis guy, that they do take some attention. They take some internal, they take internal, they take re-rolls, and they take, you know, wipes from the outside quite a lot. Vegas, definitely a prep from the inside tire. Despite what their website initially said, like, oh, these tires don't need to be prepped. Phooey on that. I ran Vegas quite extensively with the UAS Open for many, many a year. We get them super soft, goopy, you know, just biting into those, you know, super heavy tracks that we run up here on North, is saturated. You know, man, it comes down and pours, and we're able to run after it gets done, you know, Mother Nature wetting the track for us. Just goop them Vega yellows up and hit the track and just, you know, make hay with them. Not quite sure about Hoosier. It's been a long time. I had some FKs back a while ago. I believe I won a race on them, but you know, it's kind of, I don't have much experience with it. I'm not saying Hoosier's a bad tire by any stretch of imagination. It's just they're not that popular. I think they're more popular probably the Northwest, maybe mid part of the country. You never hear a ton about them except for the treads. But I thought this would be a cool video. You know, it's when people are getting into racing, you know, and they hear about tire prop, and then all of a sudden they heard about, you know, hey man, I need a roller or a hot box. I need to be rolling internal prep. Pump the brakes a little bit. Not always the case. Not every tire benefits from internal prepping, much like the Burris. I believe that Burris, in my experience, are better suited without any internal, only external. And an argument could be made for the Reaper as well. So there you go, guys. Nice, short, quick to the point video. Just sometimes these videos are to percolate thoughts. You know, like there's a very, I want to do a dedicated video on monkey see, monkey do. You know, it's always, you know, hey, well, so-and-so says you got to do this, and so-and-so says you got to do that, and only do this. And then you have everybody running the same thing, and it's just like, are you willing to challenge that concept? You know, that's, if people say that you have to internal prep tires, you know, if they're, you have to do it, do you though? You know, if you get a happy balance with your cart, if your cart likes a tire that doesn't have any internal prepping, if it runs better without it and you can find speed that way, I wouldn't internal prep. I don't think, you know, sometimes there is no need for it, especially in the case of a Burris from my experience. So there you go, guys. I super appreciate you coming by as always. Remember, Kart 63 brought to you by Track Tack Tire Treatments. Treatments for tires and tracks. Yes, they do have a chemical that if your track has a dust problem, if your track has a bit of a breaking apart problem, and you need an additive to add to the water, the de-duster, is that the name of it? Anyway, de-dustifying to bind that surface up. Track Tack has you covered. Reach out to them. See if you are a track owner. If you know a track owner that might, you know, could benefit from this, you know, mention it. Say, hey, you know, Track Tack has a product for that. If you're not allowed to run calcium, this might be an option for you as well. You know, better surfaces, bring in more racers, and that might be something that could do your track good. So, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I always say guys. Now, I know there's females that watch this channel, and I appreciate all of you, but guys is in general. Get racers. It's just guys/racers, same people. You know, anyway, I thank you very much for stopping by as always, and we'll catch you in the next video. Later.